What's up, everybody? And welcome to another Kin Stretch class brought to you by Stretch Effect. My name is Coach Luke, and I'll be taking you through today's 30-minute full body cars routine. So we always do cars before we train. We do cars, we do capsule cars. Usually in these classes, really focus on the joint that we're going to be training for the day, right? So if we're training shoulder joint, we'll be really going after neck cars, shoulder cars, maybe some scap cars. Really, what I want to do today is really just take you through a full body sequence that you can do at the beginning of your day. You can do it before you work out if you have that amount of time to do a 30-minute cardio routine. Typically, you can kind of condense it down in like a 10 or 15-minute routine at the most. Really, what I wanted to take you through today is positions that we may not have gone through in past classes. Maybe positions that you may not have thought about, and then really just kind of hit home and get more detailed on some of the other positions like our ankle cars. So we're going to start in what's called bear sit for our neck cars. So if you have a block, I recommend you sitting on the block. You certainly could just sit on the floor here. This is certainly okay. If you're nice and mobile, you can stay in bear sit seated. But if you're not as mobile as some of us, you may want to sit on the block. It's certainly okay. It just kind of lifts us up, gives us a little bit more space in the hips. Really allows us to sit nice and tall so we get the most out of our neck cars. So with bear sit, we have about a 90-degree bend of the knees here. We're going to grab onto those shins, and then we're going to use those shins to really help us sit up nice and tall, pull us up. So now we're getting a little bit of hip opening up here while we work through our neck cars. So we're going to do our neck cars, and we're going to do our T-spine cars from this position here. So get nice and comfortable. If you want to sit on the floor, like I said, by all means do so. I actually recommend you do that if this is too easy for you, because you want to have a little bit of a challenge, right? We don't want to make it too beginners, so we can really get some active hip opening up while we are bracing that core, sitting up nice and tall. So from here, I'm just going to start chin to chest, rotate chin to collarbone, kick my right ear over my right shoulder, slowly rotate over the top. As I come over the top, my left ear comes over my left shoulder, left chin to left collarbone, rotate through the center. Let's go one more time to the right. Go chin to right collarbone. As you got water in your right ear, I'm dumping the water out over my shoulder, come over the top, slowly come over the top. My left ear comes over the shoulder, drop my chin to my left collarbone, and rotate through. And now we're going to reverse back to the left. So make sure you're up nice and tall. Make sure you got a good grip on those shins, keep the body nice and still. Chin to chest, rotate chin to collarbone. Ear goes over that shoulder, chin to the sky, ear over the shoulder, drop the chin, and rotate to the center. Let's go one more time. Chin to collarbone, dump the water out my ear, over that shoulder. As I come over the top, make sure I'm not sharp enough, right? Make sure I'm staying shoulder down, make sure I'm staying tall. Ear over my shoulder, drop my chin, and rotate through the center. Okay, from here, again, stay nice and tall on that block. If you need to go on 2 blocks, you certainly can, or if you want to go 2 next to each other, just give yourself a wider base to sit on. That's certainly okay as well. I'm going to grab the shoulder, so you can go here. You can make fists on the shoulders here, nice and tight in the chest. You can grab them here, or you can even wrap all the way around the body. Okay, so you can, and then of course you can switch in between reps as well. Find what works best for you. If you feel like you can move, better in one position than the other, by all means you can stay in that position. Or if you feel like one position is a little bit more comfortable, maybe that's one you need to practice a little bit more. So it's up to you. Choose your own adventure. I'm going to start here, wrapping all the way around my body here. As I start, I'm going to kick my chin to my chest. So we're just kind of taking the neck out of it here. So I don't want to do this with my cervical spine as I'm working the T-spine, right? So I'm going to chin to chest. I'm going to pull my elbows down into my rib cage. So as I do so there, that's that thoracic flexion. And there, I will just keep my body nice and still. So keep actively trying to, not driving this to the floor per se, but actively pull that pressing out a little bit so that they're not pulling in as we work through these motions here, right? So I'm going to go around the body, chin to chest, T-spine flexion. And there, I'm going to rotate to my right only as much as I can while keeping both sit bones on the block or on the floor, right? I don't want to rotate so much that now I'm coming out of this position here. Keep that lower body nice and stable. Flexion, rotation. From here, I will flex to my right. Again, keeping both sit bones down so nothing else is moving except my spine. As I flex from here, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to extend one vertebrae at a time as I come over the top. I will rotate over the top, flex to my left. From here, take my right shoulder, cross the body to the opposite hip. Now I will rotate inside. From there, I will keep going one more direction. In the same direction while we're up. Here, flex, extend one vertebrae at a time, rotate over the top, get tall. From here, I will flex to my left, take my right shoulder down across the body, still flex and pull my elbows into my rib cage, and rotate to the center. Let's get tall. Let's extend just to get practice with this one before we switch directions here. So if you want to stay here, you certainly can. Flex, rotate, laterally flex, extend one vertebrae at a time, get tall to come over the top. I will flex to my right, left shoulder comes across towards my right hip, pull the elbows into my rib cage as I rotate to the center. One more time, so I'm going to rotate, flex, and get tall. Take it up here. From here, I will laterally flex, rotate across, pull those elbows in, and come through the center. Check them out. Nice job. So let's stay here for the bear sit. We're in the bear sit. We're gonna do some scapular carves from this position. Okay, so I'm just gonna be right out in front. So take my hands straight up front, make fist with those arms. We're just gonna start with just protraction, retraction. So I'm gonna go reach forward, I'll go to the side. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm still in bear sit, sitting up tall, like I got a string pulling me up from the ceiling. Now I'm just going to protract and retract. Protract, retract. One more. Protract, reach. We don't want to flex the spine, right? We just want the T-spine flexion there. So I just want to make sure that I'm just protracting the shoulder blades and retracting those shoulder blades. From there, keeping this position, right? As you work through these rotations, your body's going to want to help you out by flexing with the spine, moving all the way around. So you just want to make ribs stay down, core stays engaged. Make fists with those hands, lock up those elbows. I'm going to protract, shrug up over the top. Really keep that core tight here as I retract and depress those shoulder blades. And then reach out again. We're going to 2 more circles there. Shrug, retract, press, protract. Let's go one more. Big circle here. Just really keep everything tight. Squeeze the core, squeeze the glutes, squeeze those fists. We're gonna go back the other way. Come in here, retracting, shrug, up and over, go down, retract, squeeze together, up and over. One more time, come down, squeeze together, shrug up, over the top, and down. Very nice. That was bear sit. Scapular carves there. We're going to go to a sideline shoulder carve. So our sideline shoulder carve is going to take a little bit of a break. If you have a block, just throw it right under your head. If you don't have a block, you can use the pillow, use your arm as a pillow. These are sideline shoulder carves. So because we're in a sideline position, gravity is going to be acting on the arm a little bit differently than if we were standing or in half kneeling, tall kneeling, some position that we've done before. It's going to feel a little bit different. You may be able to access some range of motion that you typically wouldn't. So it's a good time, good opportunity to kind of practice in different positions. You can feel a little bit different kind of shoulder action going on. So it's just like we would do our sideline hip carves. You want to stay nice and tight through that core. Feet are stacked. We're going to have this arm put straight out in front. And I'm just going to go slowly over the top. So as I get my bicep to ear, right? So I'm going as high as I can go here. You may already notice that you're getting higher than you typically would standing. From there, I'm going to rotate not just my hand, right? I'm going to rotate the full bicep as if I was trying to rotate an X right on my bicep there, right? I'm rotating my humerus, this bone right here. That means I'm rotating the shoulder capsule. Right, so here, we go hand here. Now you keep the rib cage tight. I'm gonna rotate the whole arm. As I do so, the rest of my body stays tight. Coming all the way around. As I do so, I'm trying to max out this rotation, right? So as I hit my bottom, I'm going back side of my hand is on my side. Now I just reverse out of the bottom of that rep. Coming back into extension, make sure I'm not shrugging up, right? So I'm just still trying to reach back. Keep that shoulder nice and still in that shoulder capsule. And then I slowly rotate over the top. Come back down to the center. We're going 3 reps here. Core stays tight, glutes stay tight. If you want to get a little bit more kind of discipline through the core, you can imagine you're trying to slide like a credit card under that rib cage, right? So instead of just laying on the side, give yourself a little bit of space, almost as if you were doing a side push. Not so hot that you would really brace super tight. Just enough so you can slide a credit card under there. That just kind of helps keep you braced. Helps keep you a little bit more disciplined, so then as you work through this, you're still working on that ribs down, core engaged position. So we know we're getting as much out of the shoulder as we can, but not out of the spine. You want the spine to do what a spine does, you want a shoulder to do what a shoulder does. The more we can teach our joints to do their jobs and not compensate for the lack of other joints, the healthier you're going to be, the better you'll feel, the better you'll perform, whether it's working out, whether it's fitness, whether it's playing with your kids, whether it's your job. We all need to have healthy, functioning joints. It's the best way to do so. Over the top and back down. Let's go and switch to the other side. So the beginning of the class is a good opportunity to kind of look at different positions. And so it's also another great opportunity to kind of practice your cars. You know, you can set up a 30-minute clock and then just do cars continuously. If you're not used to doing them, it could also be a little heart rate activity for you, because if you do them correctly, right, and keep moving, you shouldn't take any breaks. It's a good opportunity for you just to do a 30-minute uninterrupted bulk of movement, which everybody could use in their daily life. But again, going slow, sure we're breathing, making sure that nothing else moving except that except the intended joint, right? No unintended movements, especially if you're slow. You rotate here, right over the top, reach back, probably getting some motions here that you won't get. The standing variations really go slow, especially when you come into extension. This is probably more than you're used to. And then rotate, fist over the top, keep that core engaged, scrape the knee with the bicep, and down. We got one more, just tight, ribs down, squeeze those legs together, bicep to ear. Now rotate, right, not just the hand, but rotate the whole arm in that shoulder capsule. Continue to try to max out that rotation while I come over the top, around, through. Last one. Extend as far as you can, which you can't get anymore. Then I start to slowly rotate, keep reaching back, keep coming over the top, scrape the ear with the bicep, and back down to my start position. Okay. From there, you go into laps kneeling, elbow car. So the elbow cars, showing thing inside of my elbow, stays right on my ribs. From there, I'm gonna make a fist. Okay, so we're gonna do elbow and wrist cars from a closed fist position. So from here, I'm gonna imagine I'm just doing like a bicep curl, right? So inside my elbow stays on my ribs. I'm gonna curl up. Instead of just curling up and having my fist come toward me, right? I wanna imagine I'm trying to rotate and turning my palm away, out towards the shoulder, but even away. Try to get outside as I come up. It's outside my shoulder. Squeeze those biceps. Keeping that fist position, I'm just going to pronate. And then as I come down, extend down as opposed to tricep extension. And come down here, rotate, come up, turn away, keep trying to turn away, keep trying to rotate, pronate, press down, press down, press down. You want to imagine the air got like 50% thicker, right? Nothing crazy, but I don't want to just go here, right? I want to imagine a thick medium of air so that as I work through these rotations, creating tension not only in my biceps, but in my shoulders and the rest of my body, so I can squeeze out as much possible rotation in that joint as I can. From there, let's go here, so let's rotate, and then rotate at the bottom. Rotate, rotate bottom. This time let's come up, reverse, squeeze out this way, squeeze out this way. We're just working some capsulars in those elbows. So this is a classic position. People with golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, a lot of times you don't have the capsular space in the elbow joint to allow proper pronation and supination, right? So supination is coming this way. You can remember like you're holding a bowl of soup, right? I don't have the clever acronym or a clever analogy for pronation, but that's just the opposite of holding a bowl of soup, right? So we just want to make sure that we have the adequate capsular space in the elbow, because if we don't, other stuff's going to take over, and usually you start to feel some pain either on the inside or the outside of the elbow, and that's that classic golfer's and tennis elbow, right? So this is the best place to start. And then you can look up the elbow and wrist kills rails video that we did to start to work on expanding that range of motion. So we just did some capsulars at 90 degrees. Let's just go back down here. Let's just do a couple. Keep it inside of that elbow, on the rib cage. Elbow pit stays forward, just rotating back and forth. Okay, so you can stay in collapsing if you like. You want to start with block, you can. Tell me if that's uncomfortable for you. Whatever you like to do, we're going to go double arm wrist cars here from a closed fist position. So this is what you can do from closed fist. Of course, we've done it open fist or open palm. You can hold on a tennis ball, you can do anything like that you want. So this is going to be quite a bit different experience. We're just going to stay at 90 for now, and then we're just going to work. So go to extension, so try to pull those wrists back as if you're trying to show your fist forward, and then I'm going to come out. Imagine I'm trying to balance a cell phone, balance a yoga block right on the top of my form here. So as I work through these motions, I'm only working the wrist, right? I don't want to work the elbow as I turn that hand over, right? So here, out, come in, and around again. Let's get 2 more reps there. So out, up, in, back to extension. Now let's reverse. In, flex the wrist, everything's still, elbows on your ribs, extend, come in, flex, out, extend, and flex. Let's come up to that same kind of elbow position that we were in. So we're fully flexed, squeeze those biceps, make those fists, and then we're just going to go 2 reps each direction here. So just like the shoulder cars, how we just laid on our side and then immediately change position, right? As we change positions, as we change kind of hand orientation, that immediately will change how the cars feel, right? So that's why the main reason why I wanted to do this video is to show different positions, but also to show that just changing one little simple thing in your body position completely change how the cars feel. So the more practice you get in all the positions and all the orientations, the better you're going to feel. The more adaptable, the more kind of open you're going to be to change your daily life, right? So that was our upper body. We're going to go into some lower body. We'll go to some quadruped hip cars. So we do sideline hip cars a lot, so I just want to get some more practice for a quadruped variation. So on the hands and knees. If that's tough on the wrist, we can definitely go to a closed fist position. From there, we're just going to work. So we'll go right knee first, and we'll take the right knee, same side elbow. Make sure the rest of the body stays still, right? So if you want to take the yoga block, throw it on that lower back, just to give yourself a little reminder. I just want to imagine, just like we were holding the cell phone on the forearm, imagine you're balancing something on that lower back. Make sure that as I rotate here, I'm not really opening up, right? So from here to the elbow, Open up as much as I can, not that fire hydrant exercise you may have done. Rotate heel to the sky. Core stays engaged. And reverse. Heel to the sky. Rotate around, over the top. And we got 2 more there. Knee to elbow. Open up. Just have to come around here and really make sure that core stays engaged. Make sure I'm not arching that lower back too much. And there. I'll extend. This is a big one where people want to do this, right? So really fight to stay. Ribs down. You can go here if you like. Go here. I'm opening up. Around. And down. This is another one where your right hip, your left elbow is going to want to bend. It's going to want to give you some space by allowing you to go down. Really work hard to press away from the floor. Stay nice and tight. We got 1 more on this side. Around. Through. And reverse. Up. Out. Around. Okay. Go switch. There. Got 3 on the left. Both elbows stay locked out. Core stays engaged. Left knee, left elbow. Open up. Rotate to the sky. Come around. And reverse. Here it goes up. Come around. And 2 more there. Open. Around. Through. Up. Over the top. And down we go. Last one here. Brace even tighter. Open. Stay tight to that core. Keep driving that heel to the sky. Here. Knee drives out. Squeeze out as much range as you can. And come down. Like that. We get to our knee cars. So for knee cars can be the most confusing one of the times. We always think about our knees as a hinge joint, which is just flexing, extending, which of course it does. But we also want to think about the knee as a rotational joint, because when I'm here, right, if my heel's on the floor or if my knee's up, in the position here, my knee can actually rotate in the capsule, right? So my knee capsule is here. I'm actually able to get some, it's not a lot, external rotation, which the tibia will be rotating out, and then internal rotation, and the tibia rotates in. So this is one, first time you do it, if you're unfamiliar with these, your foot's just going to want to move all the way around. So really just try to imagine the foot and the shin are kind of together. And as I rotate, tibia rotates out, foot rotate out with it. Tibia rotates in, right there, right, foot rotates with it. So I'm going to take right arm under the right knee. I'm here, I'm going to hook, just like this, you can hook here. Or what we can do is you can hook, your right hand can grab your left bicep, and your left hand grab your right shin. I'm just going to externally rotate, so I'm going to use my hand to grab my shin out and extend. This is going to be harder to rotate the top, so not going to get a whole lot, especially as you rotate in. Get that left hand, rotate that tibia in and down. Rotate out, extend, rotate in and down, and then we'll just reverse. Up, out, down, in, up, out, down. So switch. Left arm hooks under. Left hand grabs right bicep. Right hand can grab right left shin. You can grab even up higher up here. We can grab right in the middle. I'm just going to rotate out, up, rotate in, down. Rotate out, up, in, down. We'll just go 2 reps here. Up, out, down, up, out. Or sorry, up, out, down. Okay, from there, we're gonna go just a half kneeling kneecap car. So for kneecap car, you need to hold on to something. I recommend you do, because we don't want to lock the knee out so much that we're like fully squeeze here, because if you do so, you're not going to be able to move that kneecap. So you just want to have a nice relaxed leg. If you need to hold on to something for balance, I highly recommend you do so. Make sure that leg is relaxed, and then you can just move that kneecap around. We don't think about our kneecap as a true joint, right, a lot of times. So we just want to make sure, take that left hand, or you can take the same hand here, We just want to make sure that kneecap can move straight up and straight down. Move it side to side. And then we're just going to go full 3 clockwise or counterclockwise circles. And then 3 clockwise circles. So this is going to be one that you're just going to want to do. You can really do anytime your leg is relaxed. But if your leg is fully squeezed, you're not going to be able to move that kneecap, right? So don't hyperextend and lock it out. Keep a little bit of a bend, just make sure it's relaxed. The more relaxed that leg is, easier the kneecap's going to move, right? So you can do the seat on the floor, you can do it while you're just sitting in the chair with your leg out to the side and relaxed. We're just going to go here, grab that kneecap. I'm just going up and down. Making sure you move up and down. Move side to side. This is when you can grab it kind of the 4 corners with your 4 fingers. I like to grab it with all 10. And then let's go 3 counterclockwise, 3 clockwise. Okay. Then let's go back to the seated position. And we're just going to do our ankles. I mean, just going to do our knees, we'll do our ankles. So I'm going to put under. This time now, I'm going to take this hand and hold the shin in place. So now I won't let my shin move. And I'm just going to point my toe. I'm going to go 3 clockwise circles with that ankle, not allowing that shin to move, right? So I'm trying to get as much ankle rotation as I can, independent of tibial rotation. So just try to, like you're trying to circle with that big toe. The cleaner the circle you can draw with that big toe, the healthier your ankle capsule, healthier your workspace. Switch. Okay, if you find that you're drawing like a circle and it gets like rigid or it gets like straight along in one area, that just means you got to work a little bit more on that side, right? So over here, in, out. Let's go 3 clockwise, around, down, and then let's reverse. Out, up. 3 clockwise, counterclockwise. And nice lift. Circle that we can. This is one I highly recommend people do as much as they can throughout the day. Okay, so our last one is our toe cars. So for our toe cars, we're going to really just focus on independent action of those toes, right? So this is one that not a lot of people are great at the first time they do it, but as they do it more, as they repeat it, as they get more experience with it, the better it becomes, okay? So I'm just going to be here, take all my toes up, and place them all on the ground, trying to spread them as much as possible. Okay, from there, we're going to go 4 toes, press into the floor, and then just lift your big toes. Back down, big toes up, big toes down, big toes up, big toes down. Now, big toes down, 4 toes up, 4 toes down, 4 toes up. As you press the big toes down, 4 toes come up, try not to rotate ankles in. Keep the balls of your pinky toes on the floor. Last one, 4 toes up, and back down. Now lift them all up, splay those toes, just big toes down, big toes up, big toes down, big toes up, big toes down, big toes up. You may notice your fingers are doing weird stuff too with this. You may notice that your index finger is going down, your big toe toes go down. A lot of times it happens just the way the brain works, right? So the last one we're going to call it the piano key. So if you imagine up here, I'm going to go pinky toe, ring, or 4th toe, 3rd toe, 2nd toe, big toe. So pinky toes down, 4th toes down, 3rd toes down, 2nd toes down, big toe down. Back up. This is when people usually need to practice the most, but the more you do it, the more independent control you get over those toes, healthier your feet, healthier your intrinsic muscles of your feet are. The healthier they are, the healthier they're going to function, better your ankles will function. Let's go one more there just to get more practice. So go all the way up. 4th, or pinky toe, 4th toe, 3rd toe, 2nd toe, and big toe. Very good. That's all of our cars. That was from all the way from our neck all the way down to our toes. That was a 30-minute full body card routine. So again, practice that. Whether it's the morning, take the bits and pieces, the ones that seem tougher, the ones that you feel like you need, do them before your workouts, after your workouts, do them before you go to bed. The more practice you get with the cars, the more repetition you can build in. healthier your body's going to feel, healthier your body's going to function, and the less injury prone and just greater overall quality of life. So again, practice your cars, get them in whenever, wherever you can, and I hope to see you at the next class.